Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm out and about, just running around after my kids. But needed to make an update on Robbie Mccrorie, give some opinions on that, and also an update on Antonio Colak as well. Now, Robbie Mccrorie has been the subject of much speculation today after it was reported that Michael Beale held showdown talks with him as regards his future at the club. Now, Robbie Mccrorie, who came in at the end of last season, did a reasonably good job in goal. I don't think was under a great deal of pressure or a great deal of intense pressure. Yes, he kept a clean sheet, made one outstanding save in the Old Firm, and he did well. Don't get me wrong, I think he did well. There were one or two concerning moments, however, in Mccrorie's play for me. Against Hibs, whenever Hibs whipped the ball into the box and there was players putting him under pressure, he did seem to flap at the ball quite a lot. That is, I think, one side of his game that he does need to work on. Overall, though, decent performances against Celtic, decent performance against Aberdeen. He did very well. He came in, he did a job and replaced Alan McGregor. But I think, you've got to couch, obviously, that improvement in performance perhaps against what we saw from McGregor and Mccrorie, I think, just producing what you'd expect from a team, what you expect from a goalkeeper these days. Also, the fact that I think, the pressure was off at that stage of the season. You've really got to look at the kid under pressure. For him to actually prove himself, prove that he's worthy of competing for the number one jersey. And that's the key thing for me. Now, according to a number of media sources, Michael Beale has held those last-ditch talks with Robbie Mccrorie over his Ibrox future, and it's the Sun Sport in this example, but it's not just the Sun Sport. There is a number of examples of this report from other organisations as well. Can reveal that the Rangers boss is now resigned to losing the 25-year-old this summer. So it seems that there is a lot of intense speculation now around Robbie Mccrorie and about the fact that he wants to move on and leave Rangers this summer. I think there's two sides to this for me. Trying to obviously play, a bit devil's advocate in here, as well as obviously looking at Robbie's point of view. Robbie Mccrorie obviously has been understudy now for a long time. Last season he came in and did a decent job. Don't get me wrong, but obviously had a lot of time out injured. And I think it's been injuries. It's been, Alan McGregor ahead of him that's held him back in the past from that starting role. And I think that, he was disappointed that Jack Butland was brought in. I think he thought that he could be the starting goalkeeper this year. But like I said, the performances that he gave were very good, but they were in games where there was no pressure on him. Performing in games where there is no pressure, where there is nothing to play for, in effect, is very different to performing when the pressure is on and when you need to perform, at the highest level in Scotland or highest level in Europe. So that's why I think they brought Butland in. Now, Butland is a keeper who obviously represented England. When he was at Stoke, he was a leader. Look, I've read a number of tweets from fans on Twitter criticising Jack Butland, saying that it's a mistake that Butland gets the number one jersey, that he's a calamity goalkeeper. Well, they're basing this on a few YouTube highlights that they may have been able to find by googling Butland mistakes. Or you know what, you can probably find a million mistakes by a million different goalkeepers if you spend time going through YouTube or Google. Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper, one of the best goalkeepers in world football. Thibaut Courtois, the Real Madrid goalkeeper, one of the best goalkeepers in world football. Manuel Neuer, again, still one of the best goalkeepers in world football. You can find mistakes by all these guys. You can find a whole tape or a whole YouTube clip of their bloopers. And, you can show that and use it to prove whatever you want, can't you? But you cannot, for me, draw any conclusions on Jack Butland until you've seen him actually play for Rangers, actually pull on a Rangers jersey and do the job for the club on a Saturday, on a Sunday, or on a midweek. To say that Butland's a disaster, that, I read one fan's tweet. I'm not going to name that fan because that fan, in my opinion, is clueless. He talks about the fact that when Jack Butland's picking the ball out of the net for the third time at Parkhead, then we'll all be sad that we let Robbie Mccrorie go and we signed him. We signed Butland, who is a dodgy goalkeeper. Well, he's basing this on what? When I challenged him, he shared this YouTube clip. Again, like I said, you can go onto YouTube and you can find YouTube clips to prove whatever you want. You can probably even find a YouTube clip that proves the world's flat. So, absolute, bunkum and rubbish, in my opinion. Robbie Mccrorie, if he's going to leave, if he's going to walk away at this stage, it's a little bit disappointing for me. I can kind of understand it. There is a frustration there. The lad wants to be number one. He thinks he's done enough to prove it at the end of last season. But like I said, last season was a little bit non under pressure. It's a bit disappointing how he doesn't want to stay and fight for his place. At least, stay a season and try and prove this season, upcoming season, that he is the rightful number one. The fact that the first kind of like challenge he's thrown, like new challenge, he's thrown, he quits and gives up and runs. It's not what you want. And perhaps does that show a little bit of a flaw in his character? For me, yes, it does. Look, you stay, you fight one season, fight for your place, go out there in training and prove that you're the better goalkeeper. Go out there in pre-season, prove you're the better goalkeeper. That's what they've got. That's what he's got to do, rather than taking his gloves and running away. And look, you might disagree with me, and that's fine if you do disagree with me. But for me, it's a little bit of, I don't know, just disappointing, shall we say, disappointing from Robbie Mccrorie, and his attitude is, I think, disappointing with this. If it's true, of course, that he wants to quit the club and move on this summer because he isn't going to be number one. Like I said, it's a bit toys out the pram. It's a bit, I don't know. For me, like I said, it's a little bit, shows a bit of a flaw in the boy's character. It really does. Now, moving on to Antonio Colak. Now, according to a number of media reports at this moment in time, Colak will definitely be on his way out of the door in Ibrox this season. He is reportedly, his representatives, are reportedly locked in talks with Italian Serie B side Pisa over a move to Italy. That is the latest rumour doing the rounds. Now, the Werder Bremen rumour seems to have died because of the fact that Bremen themselves admitted they can't afford him at this moment in time without selling players to raise money. However, it seems that Pisa and also Parma in Italy do have money to spend and are willing to part with money for the striker. As to what the Pisa and Parma are currently offering, I don't know yet what that exact amount is. But like I said, according to a number of media reports, Pisa are locked in talks with Antonio Colak and his representatives, and also Rangers, to try and secure his move to Serie B. This will be an interesting move if it comes off. Kind of move backwards in a way, I think, for Antonio Colak. Yes, I think he'll get first team football. Yes, he'll score goals in Italy, but it's the second division in Italy, so that's goes against a little bit. So it's a bit of a surprise for me. I do know that Rangers obviously do need to move on, do need to sell players. I think it's a bit disappointing that we're selling Colak. Personally, I would have liked to have kept hold of him. I think he's a very good player. But it does seem that he is going to be on his way out of the door this summer. Okay, guys, that's the latest update. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thank you so much for all the support you've given us to this point. It's been absolutely phenomenal. We are absolutely blown away by that support, myself and Victoria. Remember, guys, if you'd like the content, please hit that sub, help grow this channel even more. And if you can ring the notification bell, you'll never miss out on any of the daily content from Glasgow Rangers Nation. Okay, guys, let's finish it off in the usual way. I need you to do two things, guys. Two things for me. Hit that like. And number two, remember, always, we are the people.